Alright, so let's start. First of all, last class a few of you had requested for the files, right? And so I hope this time all of you can see the files. I have added all the extra mails as the as guests in this meeting as well. So as you can see, I had talked about mainly three files yesterday, right, on LaTeX. So workshop, the assignment, and the QFT essay. Now I've changed the content of it to blind text due to a few like copyright reasons, but other than that, the format is the exact same. And yeah, so all these are available here. You can download it. And yeah, if it is not visible, again in the end we'll ask you guys whoever can't see it, and you guys can let us know. Someone has raised their hand.
Excuse me. Actually, I was just seeing the attachments. I can view the attachments, but we are not being able to preview that. So I don't know why. But
All
what
right.
kind of files are those?
TXT, most of
Like
them are
we can't
text.
open it and stuff.
Yeah, in my
Ev-
phone,
Okay.
not supported.
Yesterday I could download both the attachments, but today I am not being able to download. I don't know why.
all right. Okay, so in the end we'll collect the emails and we'll send it to you via email as well. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No problem. Awesome. So, right, let's begin. So I'll just let you know the outline of the second workshop first. So today we'll be talking about mainly three things: Overleaf, research papers, and project reports. And it'll be approximately 40 minutes, and we can go through a few questions as well. So, but before all that, like I would like to talk a little bit about how to spot fake journals. Um, so if you remember, like yesterday, someone had asked a sort of doubt, right, whether we can submit a paper in a journal as MS Word, and I had my doubts, right? I had told like usually they ask for LaTeX to just confirm the authorship, and so I was curious and I went through it, and I won't be taking the name, but they had posted an article in this journal, and so let's just go through this journal, right? Even before we go through, just let's just search, right? International. Sorry, let me just type Indian. All right. So this is predatorjournals.com/journals. So this is a website which has a huge list of all the predatory journals, right? Predatory journals in the sense fake journals, and usually they are open. They ask payment from the author because they don't have a lot of subscribers and things like that. And so yeah, this is the journal they published at, and if you just click here, that's the basically journal. So basically the journal they
Your screen is not visible.
just a second, let me. All right, just is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible now.
Okay. So I had first just shown this, the basic outline, and I told that before we speak on to anything else, let's first talk a little about spotting fake journals, right? So again, yesterday we had come across a question: can we submit in MS Word? And I was worried about because usually I haven't come across such a journal, and so basically they are submitted to this journal in MS Word, I assume. So when we click to this journal, we go to that site, right? And we have a site right here called predatorjournals.com slash journals. This is a site that has a like huge list of journals. All these journals are fake in the sense like either they are not like that authentic, or they just like ask payment from the author. They are open journals, so the viewers don't have to pay, right? Because they won't have a lot of subscribers if they are fake. So what they do is they sort of ask money from the authors to publish their work, and a lot of undergraduates fall into this, and that is why I thought it's really important to talk about this. And yeah, so when we clicked here, we got to this site, right? It's a fake journal. Now I'll let you know a little bit how to like spot it. First of all, it'll be in this list, right? For that reason, I've also added these links in the txt files, because here's the thing, like you can become an expert in LaTeX, but at the end of the day, like if you're publishing it in a fake journal, like all your hard work is gone basically. So yeah, so the fake journals will be on this site, and I've also attached this link. So here you can search your own like journal over here and find like, is this a good journal? Like this site tells you about the proper journals, basically Scimago or Scopus or things like that, these websites, and this tells you about the fake ones. Now another way is like you can literally just go to their site, right? And let's just say editorial board, and right, so let's just choose a random one. Let's choose this person, I guess. um so we click to go to the Google Scholar, but you get redirected back to the same page. Fake, right? And let's just say we want to go back. Let's just go paper by paper, right? So just one more example. So DOI, every sort of paper which we'll talk about has a citation format as well. We can cite the paper in our research. If we use this paper in our research, let's say, so we have to cite it. That is to sort of show that we have not plagiarized it. We have used it as reference in a way. So I can copy this, and how to check it would be to go to Google Scholar. I can use my extension as well. I just paste it here, and let me open it in a new window. So this is what it shows, right? So this was apparently published in the International Journal for Indian Psychology, right? Now if I go right here, it's directly puts, if I click to this link or this link, any link, it directly puts me to the PDF. And the PDF is not on the journal site, it is on ResearchGate. ResearchGate, as some of you might know, is a preprint sort of website, right? And so yeah, it just goes there directly PDF. And let me just search this. This is a real paper, right? So if I click here, it's supposed to go to sort of the journal site like this. One sec, like this, right? This is a very famous journal in astrophysics and astronomy. So it goes like this, and you can either download the PDF if it's on free, and or like you can use other methods to download it, basically. So yeah, that journal was fake. So that is why we should be careful not to submit our paper in fake journals. And that's what they do, right? They make it convenient for you. Okay, you can just submit in MS Word. We'll accept it in 2 months, and like, but they ask for like usually high fees, basically. And some undergraduates fall for it unknowingly, and some of them do it on purpose to build their CV. I have news for you. Basically, like, if I, as an individual, can find this journal is fake, colleges and universities that you apply to later surely 100% can find this is fake. And not only does it not improve your profile, it damages it. Like, no matter what, how much of a fantastic CV you have, like, it won't matter. I had a friend I knew, like, he had published a lot of papers in fake journals unknowingly, not like, all right, like semi his fault, but all right, like he had published in fake journals, and he applied for graduate programs, and he had more than, I believe, 4 papers or something only in his undergrad time, but he didn't get selected in any of his like colleges that he wanted to go to for graduate admission. Why? Fake journals. So it damaged his profile. Whatever good he had in his profile, even that went down because of it. So that's why we should just be careful, and don't fall for it. And yeah, it is available in recording on YouTube, right? So yeah, don't fall for it. So that is one part complete, and second part will come to in the end, actually, the LaTeX files attached. Now let us talk about LaTeX versus Overleaf, right? Yesterday we had a workshop. We talked about LaTeX, the offline software in specific. So now we'll talk a little about Overleaf. Let me just search Overleaf. All right, so basically, after you log in, after you make an account here, this is your sort of dashboard, you can say, right? So it has your projects shared with you. So the one great benefit of Overleaf is oftentimes, like, you won't have a single author on a paper, right? You have multiple, and so oftentimes all the researchers will want to cross check with each other, and they want to edit the document together. And as we saw last time, LaTeX, the offline version, again offline, so like it'll be very hard to sort of work on it together. Me and you as an author won't be able to simultaneously work on it. So what we'll have to do is I'll have to edit the LaTeX, I'll have to send it to you, you'll have to edit, send it back, and it's very hectic, right? So we need sort of live editing where both the authors can edit it together, and for that we use Overleaf. So let me just take an example, right? Let's just take this example. So share, let me just show you how to share. So just simple, this button is there. So you can like type, okay, who do I want to include, like their email ID, or you can just turn on link sharing, right? And just copy this link. This is for viewing and this is for editing. There's two separate links and you can do it like that, and I can just turn it back off. And yeah, that is one benefit, sharing, simultaneous editing. And yeah, all the authors can edit it together. Now, another thing related to yesterday would be, I told you guys, right? Like you just have to search Google and you'll be able to find, be able to clear your LaTeX doubts. Now, I'll just give you an example for that, right? Let's just say, right here, if I go down, not this, just a second, this one. All right, so I have a matrix right here, right? Suppose in this starting, I didn't know how do I make a matrix, right? How do I write this equation? All I have to do is LaTeX matrix. I can just write matrix spelling. But yeah, so now there are two main websites that will help you. One, Overleaf itself. Overleaf itself has many tutorials, in a way, written tutorials. So simple, right? Just go here. They also tell you which packages to use. I had told you yesterday, right? For a few commands you need packages, right? It's loaded in certain packages. So you need to use this package. It's written right here. It's a sort of math package, right? AMS math. And using this package, you can have various sort of like matrices, plain, parentheses, square brackets, curly brackets, and so on. And everything is here, right? The render is right here. The code is right here. That's it. And again, one thing you have to learn while learning LaTeX is how to scan codes and rendering. Try to compare them and learn what means what, right? Let me just zoom in for a second. All right. So just like any other sort of large section, we have a section for matrix as well, because the matrix has multiple elements and all of them have to be in a single matrix. Let me just take the square bracket example, let's say. So yeah, so we have the section begin and end, B matrix, and the and separates every horizontal element. I'll see 1 and 2 and 3. So 1, next horizontal element 2, horizontal element 3, like that. And the double backslash, again like last time, goes to the next line, right? So it separates the sort of rows, right? So we have the next row, and then again A and B and C, and if you want to add another row, backslash, and then D, E, F, we can do it like that. Now the difference between each parenthesis is right here. For the square matrix, you write B matrix. For this, you write P parenthesis matrix. And for without any like sort of parenthesis, you can just write matrix basically. And V matrix and blah blah blah. Like there's no like need to remember all of these unless you are going to use all of these. Like in which case, if you use it a few times, you'll just remember it automatically. But yeah, so I had a doubt in writing matrices. I found it on Overleaf. Another site, sometimes you might not find the thing in Overleaf, so you can go to this thing, Stack Exchange, specifically the text, right? So this website will be very helpful for you. Like not necessarily like searching it here. You can search it on Google. It'll appear on one of the top results, so that's fine. So again, someone had a doubt about matrices. They posted it over here, and someone cleared it, right? About how do we have like these dots is done by like V dots and D dots and things like that, diagonal dots. D dots is diagonal dots, V is vertical dots, so things like that. And yeah, so again the same thing here, your doubts will be cleared very easily if you just search on Google. All right, so that's out of the way. Then we have templates. Let us go to templates. Let me just search Overleaf templates. Alright, Overleaf is not just used for research papers, it is used for a lot of things. Like even in many books, you'll see like a particular format that is very similar to LaTeX. So academic journal, bibliography, book, calendar, resume, which is our third workshop. We'll be talking about it tomorrow soon. Then formal letter, assignment. For assignment, I use the offline version, but you can use it too. And obviously, we'll also discuss project/lab report. And as you can see, there are a lot of like various templates you can choose from. In specific, like let's first talk about research papers, right? We have two main topics today, research papers and project reports. Let's first talk about research papers. All right, so every journal sort of has a different format. You can say, for example, this is the IEEE conference paper template, like this, right? And it's drastically different from, if I go up, the MNRAS, the monthly notices of Royal Astronomical Society, the website I just went to, right? So they have a very different format. And so depending on what research you're doing, whether you're doing it in astrophysics, what journal you're publishing in, depending on that, you can like choose your template and you can edit the document. Now, one thing to note is you'll see right here in the header, we have this right here, MNRAS, and we have the 00012, the year, things like that. Sorry, things like that, and basically the journal name. So be sure that if in case your paper is not accepted into a journal, and you want to put it to a like ResearchGate or archive, things like that, do not have the journal's name. That is basically not allowed, really, And for example, let me go here if I can. So which one? This one. Let's go to this one. All right. Let me just view the whole file. All right. So you'll see some similarity, right? This looks sort of similar to this, right? Except it doesn't have the header. The title is changed, obviously. The authors, we have a lot more authors here. 2 lines, date, abstract, everything else is the same, and we don't have the this header as well, right here, Kevin Smith et al. We don't have that either, and yeah, it's pretty clean. So as long as it's not accepted into the journal, do not put the journal's name here. It's not allowed. All right, and yeah, that's it. When it's accepted, you can do it with the template itself. You can upload it here. So that's that. All right. So yeah, different journals have different formats, and sometimes you'll see like double 2 column paper. Sometimes you'll see 1 column paper. These two are 1 column. If I can just workshop link. I had an example of a single column as well. If I can go here, right? This is a math paper. See right here, it's not 2 columns, it's 1 column. Again, depending on the journal, your field, things like that, right? So yeah, different templates. Now, next we have how do we edit the templates, right? So let me just give you one example. This itself I've edited, right? And if I go back down, it's basically like sort of again scanning and common sense in a way. Like if I go down in this template, right? Let me go down. Okay, I see title here, and short title max 45. As you might remember, the square bracket sort of defines the properties, and the curly brackets right here define what the actual content or the package or things like that are, right? That's again sort of difference between square brackets and curly brackets. So as you'll see, mnras template title goes here, the exact same thing that's written here. So I'll just write workshop part 2, and if I recompile, this is how you sort of recompile and check whether the code has changed and things like that. Right here, the title has changed, right? Simple thing, just scan. And then we have author, right? As you'll see here, the author, again, this is in square brackets. Why is this in square brackets? As you'll see right here, we don't have Kevin Smith et al. We have it over here, right? Right here as the header of the second page. So if we go back, this is what the header will show basically. So I can change it to basically nothing. I don't want a single author's name to be shown in the top or something, so let's remove that. Now I can edit the name to like John, K John, and the thanks is sort of a function specific to mnras. So as you'll see here, last time I discussed document class, article, book, report. This time we have mnras. What is a document class mnras? That's not a sort of like document, right? So basically every sort of famous journal, you can say, have their own template on Overleaf, right? A predefined template such as this one. So mnras, huge journal, they also have their own template. So what they have done is, like as you'll see, there are many other folders here. .bst, like you don't really need to do much here. Then you might have to change a little bit of .cs, which I'll come to later. Readme.txt, guide, things like that, everything, right? So there's a lot of background work going on, the back end work, sort of the like how the code functions and things like that, right? So there's a lot of that going on that is done by the journal itself. What you have to do is edit the content, basically change the heading, change the authors, abstract, things like that. Alright, so yeah, this is by mnras, and if I can go back here, right here, document class IEEE Tran, right? This is another journal, their own document class. And yeah, right here as well we are using packages. So even on Overleaf you'll have to use packages. Again, if you want to add images, graphic X is still here. If you want to use math, AMS math. If you want to use a few symbols, extra math symbols, AMS sim, right? Things like that. And yeah, you have a few comments. This is already done by the the journal to help you out. So they have written here, keep the title short and informative. So they have written the title is right here, and you have to keep it short and informative. And yeah, and then you can add authors, multiple authors, and you can add their institutions. So basically, let's go a little bit into the format of research paper, right? So usually I'll talk about this journal in specific. We have the heading, the authors, the institution the authors belong to, what university am I from, what department am I from, Department of Applied Physics from DTU, right? So things like that. So this particular author is from Royal Astronomical Society, right? So things like that. We just have to mention their institution as well. And usually one or two authors also give their contact info. So if in case I read the paper as a student or as a other than the professor or things like that, and I have a particular doubt that I want to ask the author, or I want to suggest something, right? So I need a way to contact them. So that is done by the contact, which is usually like one to two authors. In this case, we have just one author giving his information, which will be denoted by a blue star, depending on the journal, like different symbols. But that is sort of subscript, not subscript, footnote in a way you can say. So if I go back down, I'll see another star here, right? It's written email and whatever the author's email is. So that's how you sort of contact the author to ask a particular doubt or to make suggestions to the research papers if you really have a, if you're sure and if you have a good one like that. And yeah, all right. So authors over, institution over. Then obviously in this case, like again, very basic, like backslash date. Obviously it represents the date, right? So right here, accepted, received, original form. These 5 days are usually mentioned in journals, and you can just edit it. Like you can just put 12 May if you want, and publication year. Now publication year isn't really mentioned here, but as I told you before, right here in the bracket, 2015. This is the publication year mentioned right here. So if I can change that to, let's say, 2020, it will change as well. And after that, after all these things, again, even last time you might have remembered in the make title we had title, author and date, right? Same thing here. We have the title, we have the authors and institutions, which is an extra part. We have the date, publication year, a few extra elements, and then backslash begin document. Then we begin our document. And yeah, so let me just run it and show you whether it has changed. The date has changed, and even the publication year has become 2020. That's it. So it's very basic in this sense. And right, the last page and the first page thing they have used here as well. And next I think I'll teach you how to hyperlink, stuff like that. So let me just open actually a document to show you. Contrast. All right. If I open this, not this, right. Um, all right, it should be this one. All right, let me just go right here instead then. Right here. So I'll just download it for a second and open it. Right, so we have this, right? And as you'll see, like although I was not able to hyperlink it in the Overleaf itself because I'm editing it right now, I can, if I just press right here, I'll go back to the name, right? And so basically on this, if it's on the same page, the footnote shows that okay, it's on the same page. Right now over here we have given the contact list of two authors, Binayak, one of my research team partners and me. So I've given both our email IDs over here. Now, how to hyperlink? So I'll give you an example first. So let's just say there are constants in blah 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 and our mathematical model. So we are sort of referring to equations, and what like you don't want to write one equation like multiple times, right? Chances are like you're going to mention that if it's a important equation, you'll mention it multiple times in your paper, and you don't want to like keep writing that equation again and again. It just make your paper like unnecessarily long, right? So just have that equation in one place and make sure that is numbered, and what you can do is link it. So for example, equation 1, if I press right here, you'll see right here this is equation marked as number 1. And if I can go to 4, right here, equation 4, right? I haven't written it again and again, but I can refer to it at multiple places, convenient for the reader, convenient for the author. And also you can refer to citations or the papers you have referred to. So if I click here, I go to the references section. This is where you put all the papers you have referred to, and since I pressed that, I was redirected over here, the exact paper, right? So that's how you link it. So now let me just show you how to do it. So if I go here, now an easy way to sort of check that is like sort of search the document ref. Right now I searched ref, I can go to next wherever I've used ref. Now I've reached here. Now let me just zoom in a little. All right, so as you'll see here, this is the same thing that I'm explaining in this document. All right, this part right here. Right here we have linked two equations and one paper in our journal, one reference. So if I go back here, as you'll see, now the references color was blue, right? The text color. So for that you need to use backslash text color, curly brackets blue. And now what text do you want to be, like what text do you need to be in blue, right? So you need two curly brackets. First curly bracket defines the color blue. Second one defines what is blue, like what text is blue. In our case, backslash cite, it cites the papers you're referring to as. The citations I'll come to later, but let's just talk about this one, color blue, and this part, backslash ref equation 3.1. So what is equation 3.1? Again, where is it? Again, search the text. Let us just do equation 3.1, right? So next, right here. So now we have reached the actual equation 3.1, wherever it is in the document. So again, just like last time, begin equation, we do it like that. If you put a star, it won't be numbered. We don't have a star, so it is numbered as 1, equation 1. And so when you do begin equation, you have begin equation, end equation, your equation in between. But if you want to refer to it in any other part of your paper, you have to use another curly bracket in front of the equations and use backslash label. What do you want to label it as? Curly bracket equation colon 3.1. So that is the name of this equation. So now the Overleaf thinks of this equation as equation 3.1. That is its name. Done. That is how it identifies it and searches it. So basically you can refer to it at any point of the paper, and we have equation 3.2, 3.3, things like that. You can just label, you can give custom names as well. So yeah, that's how you refer to it. And
I have one question.
yeah.
The label that is 3.1 is only the name in terms of for the computer, right? It's not in the research paper where in front of it it's equation 1, but only for the code it's 3.1, right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, like for the reader, for the paper, it is equation 1. It's labeled as 1, but for the code, for Overleaf, it is equation 3.1. I've given that name. So yeah, I could have given
Okay.
it 1. I could have even given it John. Like just whatever name I want, I can give it to it. But as long as I'm referring with the same name, it's fine. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Then all right, the same thing as before. You can have sections. In this case, we have introduction. Let me just give you an idea about the actual outline of the paper first, right? So as I was saying, the heading, authors, their institutions, date usually you have as I said, three. Um, Submission date, received by the journal, acceptance date, these three dates, right? Then you have the abstract, a short way of describing your research in this paper. What is this about? So if, because like as a researcher, right, for example, I want to learn about exomoons, and let me just go to, I'll just search, right? exomoons. Let me open it here. So I think this might be the paper I want to read, so I'll click over here. But then I don't want to read the entire paper, right? Like as an author, even I'm busy, I'm doing research, right? And like anyone, like in general, we are all busy. So I don't want to read the whole paper to understand, oh no, this wasn't the paper I was looking for anyway. Like this wasn't the conclusion I was looking for anyway. So that is why you have abstract, a short form of a paper. So like I can read this, okay, I want to check something about hill stability. Oh, this has hill stability. This is talking about hill stability. So yes, I should read this paper. So in that sense, you shortlist the number of papers you want to read. So you don't keep on reading every paper on Exomoon basically. You only read what is needed. The smart work basically. And so for that reason, we have an abstract. Then below that we have keywords, right? So this paper was about exomoons, transit variations of exoplanet and exomoons in front of the star, and orbital phase. We won't go into the topic, but yeah, these were the keywords. So yeah, like you have keywords as well. Again, to like tell the reader, okay, these are the main things we'll be talking about. Then you have an introduction. In introduction, you can talk about the past work that has been done in the paper, and also like sort of like this doesn't have to be like a serious research part. You can talk about the past work and what has been done. You can talk about the observations and the limits and things like that. Then you come to methodology. Methodology is your method of doing the research. What method have you used? Like how have you done the research basically, right? So in our case, we have done theoretical modeling and data analysis, like multiple things, a lot of things. But yeah, outline was methodology. So we have methodology is usually the longest part, you can say, most of the time, not necessarily, but yeah. Then you have discussion and conclusion. All right, you have shown your research, what you have done, your methodology. What is the conclusion? What does your research bring, basically? So again, we had multiple results, both in theoretical and data analysis. So discussion and conclusion. Then results, like you can add a few, like if you're doing data analysis, like results can be very important, like when you're checking like parameters and like things like that, simulations. So results can be very important. And you also have future work. Now future work isn't necessary for every journal, but if you talk about journals like Science and like Nature, like the more popular, like good and popular journals, sort of mainstream, for those you might need future work, because they want like they favor interdisciplinary research. So you can add a little bit of that in your future work if you're publishing in that sort of a journal. And after that you have references, right? Whatever paper you have referred to, make sure that you do not like copy paste from another paper. I can't just go to a paper, just copy one paragraph and just like, let's say this paragraph, and I can't just put it over here. That is plagiarism. And even if like you put quotes, like you shouldn't, it's not advised to like put an entire paragraph, just copy an entire paragraph. You can paraphrase it into your own words and also give credit. Another thing is, like for example, if I go right here, all right here. So when I'm talking about my equation 1 and 4, there are a few constants that I'm talking about, and I've referred this paper here, right? Why have I referred it here? I could just put the name in the end, right? Why am I referring it in the middle of the paper? It is very important. It's like, you using someone's art, let's say, on your web page, and then like you just give them like a very small credit in the end, like you shouldn't do it like that. And so you should like put the references where you're using it. You can use the same references multiple times. I'm pretty sure I have it one more time right here. Again, I have keeping 2008, right? I've used it multiple times. So every time you use a sort of data or like things from there, like refer to it. It's good to do. And yeah, and it's convenient for the reader as well, right? Like if, for example, oh, what constants are you talking about? I want to know more about the constants. Click here, and you can go to the page, right? So that's it. It's convenient for the reader as well. Make sure it is convenient for the reader. So that's another thing. Then yeah, references. And going down, right after references, now appendix. You might have appendix, like even in reports you might have like many places, books, things like that. Although it is not necessary, but since this was a relatively big paper, we had to put appendix. So why do we generally use? For derivations, and for a large set of graphs if you have, or like large set of tables if you have, for example. Because you don't want to crowd your paper, the middle of your paper, with like 10 images or like 10 graphs, I mean 10 graphs, or like an entire derivation. Like if I, let me just show you the derivation right here in appendix A. Appendix A is derivation. not the format, like we have used it as derivation. So 1 2 3 4, like it used almost, I would say, like 2 pages, right? So you don't want to like stop your like paper here and like spend the next 2 pages in derivations and then like continue with your other conclusions, right? Have your conclusions in one place, methodology in one place, the explanation sort of part in one place, and you can put all your derivations into the end as appendix. And also we had a large set of graphs, like for example this one, a lot of graphs, there's a lot of graphs, right? So you put it in the end. If you have a couple of those like which you need to refer to, for example this one, just one graph, you can put it for explaining one more graph here. But you have a set, a collection together, then don't put it together. It spoils the sort of flow of a research paper, you can say. If the author wants, like if the reader wants, they can just click the blue thing and go to the derivation, right? That's why you can just refer to it basically. Alright, so that is the outline of the research paper basically. Now let us scan it, right? So if I go back here, right here in Overleaf, if you double click the PDF, it'll take you to that portion on the code, right? And you can use this as well. For example, let's say this, right? So right here I had my cursor at time constraint, and so when I did this, I got to that side of the PDF basically. And if I double click, I want to go to abstract, I double click here, I go back. Or I can also press this arrow, go to PDF location in code, or go to code location in PDF. You can use either of these buttons, right? And yeah, so abstract, right? So first abstract, now this depends on the journal template. Oftentimes you won't even have to use a template, you can just basically make your own file. But in this case as you'll see, they'll already have the abstract section written, I believe. Yeah, right here they already have this written for you. The template already has this. As I said, all you have to do, remove this, put your own whatever abstract you want to write. Yeah, so they have like you don't need to learn it separately. Or what do I have to do to put an abstract in the mnras template? That takes a lot of time for each journal learning. Like, is this a waste of time, right? So they have it like pre-written, and they comment it as well. This is the abstract of the paper. They guide you as well in the templates. So you can just see here, or if you can't find it in the first instance, again, very helpful, just search it and you'll find here abstract. Oh, abstract is here, right? So now if I go back, what I've done is remove that and I put my own abstract of my paper right here. That's it. I have the abstract here. And they also had this written beforehand, begin keywords. Now again, I can remove it and put my own keywords. Then right here, they now basically, now as I said, like every journal has a different format as well, right? Let me just see if this has a different one. Okay, for example, this IEEE, this has introduction section, ease of use, prepare, these are just like a few guidelines in a way, you can say, right? And yeah, they have references as well. So things like that, and acknowledgement section as well. In the last paper we didn't have acknowledgement, so format changes here and there for every paper. So that is why they guide you to it. They have it already mentioned. So even the section, I believe, was mentioned beforehand right here. Section introduction, right? And so yeah, begin, and then basically I just do my normal stuff. So backslash means next line, no indent. Now basically, what if I remove this for a second, and if I do this, recompile, yeah, so let me just zoom. So if you'll see, when you go to the next line, oftentimes just to distinguish the paragraphs, what Overleaf does by default is it sort of pushes the first line forward in a way to distinguish, okay, this is the next paragraph, or this is the next group in a way, right? And so yeah, to avoid that, we don't want it indented, we want it to be in an equal line, right? We want it to look neat. So right here, this command, no indent command, like avoids the indent, no indent. Pretty simple. Again, next line, no indent, and things like that. Next section, methodology. So now methodology is a section, right? Introduction, methodology, these are sections. Then we also have subsections you can add, like this is up to you to add basically. We had theoretical modeling, so we added that. And you can also remove the number if you want, but it's better to number it because it can be a sort of long paper, so it's better to number it. And another use of numbering it is you can refer to it as well, right? Like for example, later in the paper, if I want someone, like later in the equation, right, or table, let's say I want someone to go back and refer to a theoretical modeling section. So what I can write here is in the in section 2.1, and now when they go back they'll see 2.1 right here. So it's easy, like make it easy for the reader and just organize it really well basically. Now right here we have bullet, right? Now over here I didn't want to like make, like last time I had used itemize and enumerate, right? Bullet points and 1 2 3 things like that. But over here, since I have paragraphs, I don't really want to use the enumerate. I just want to have separate paragraphs with a few bullet points in between. So I can use this function as well. Bullet is a sort of belongs here basically, right here in the math packages. Symbol are often included in the math packages, right? So it belongs over there. So basically now for every math equation, if you remember, three ways in, or actually begin equation, end equation, or double dollar and then down double dollar, that is for center with no numbering. And we also had dollar and dollar, that is for a normal equation, e to the power x, for example, that time I showed, right? So just like that. So this is also a sort of math character, you can say, right? Bullet. So this belongs to the math package, so I have to put a dollar, and then I can just do dollar backslash bullet, sort of symbol. I put it there, and then I write whatever theoretical blah 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 blah. Right now, if I remove this for a second, and if I select the entire thing, all right. So I got this back, right? Like I just pressed sort of two keys on my laptop, and I got this text BF, and I got both the curly brackets as well. The same as Microsoft Word, Control B. You do that for bold, right? So that's sort of, you do you select the text you want to make bold, and you just do Control B, and it automatically adds the code to bold the entire selected path for you. And I believe we can do this as well. Yeah, this text IT, that's for italics, Control I. So things like that you can do as well from your keyboard shortcuts. That's another thing in Overleaf. And as you see, this bold, and then we have a paragraph, and then now as you'll see, like we have 4 backslashes. So basically we can have this puts it to the next line, but I want there to be a gap, right? It's sort of a gap here, right here. So I'll put one more double line, or I can also use the, as you may remember, V space, vertical space, and how much ever space I want in between, horizontal space, vertical space, you may remember. So yeah, I can do that. And but I usually use this because it's simple, right? Boom 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 boom, just 4 times, just press backslash, so it's fine like that. Or you can use V space as well, but it might take a little longer. So yeah, now again, as you may see about phase difference right here. So in the middle of the paragraph we have pi by 2. I hope you can see, yeah, pi by 2, right? A fraction. This is also a math sort of equation, right? Not an equation, but a math expression, you can say. So again, to do that, dollar and dollar. For fractions, what you do is basically, let me just rewrite it for you guys first. So dollar dollar, then frac. And as you'll see, as you write it, it keeps recommending functions as well, right? So when I write frac for fractions, it'll recommend me. So the first one, if I enter it, it selects the first option. So as you'll see, 2 curly brackets. Now think about it, right? Like 2 curly brackets, what could they be? So fraction has 2 parts, numerator and denominator. So obviously the curly brackets have to represent numerator and denominator. So the first part, whatever you put there, will be in the numerator. The second part in the denominator. Pi again is a mathematical symbol. So again you have to use backslash, sort of function or whatever you can say. Pi, backslash pi, and then right here just 2, right? A number. And that is what will give you the pi by 2 expression right here, basically. And yeah, another subsection, we can skip through this. All right, blah blah blah. All right, so basically right here as well we have this particular equation, right? Let's also talk about this equation. So like when I talk about like 1 or 2 equations here, it'll really help you with math, like in the long term as well, like integral, square root, and things like that, right? So now, okay, let us try to have that equation, right? What have we done here? So right here we have del TTV. So that is by backslash delta, again math function, and TTV is just words, right? TTV stands for transit timing variation, which is a part of Xminds research. We won't get into that, but it's a word basically, abbreviation. So del TTV is given by this equals, now square root, as you'll see this entire, like there's a lot, let me just do this, right? So as you'll see, this entire expression is under square root. So again, we have an entire thing in a square root, so we need to put it inside a curly bracket. So we have backslash sqrt square root, right? And then we have a curly bracket starting here. If I go to this curly bracket, right, you'll see it's a little high, like it has a sort of box around it, right? Yeah, you can see it has a box around it, and even this curly bracket has a box around it. So it shows this curly bracket corresponds to this end. So this is the sort of section basically. And if I, let's say, press here, so this is in box, this is in box. So this is one section. So it automatically tells you in this way that where the sort of curly bracket ends, right? Where the section ends. Alright, so square root, and we have this entire expression in the square root, so in the curly bracket. Now let's go even deeper inside the square bracket. So before the integral sign, we have a fraction 1 by 2 pi. So again, backslash frac, numerator is 1 and denominator is 2 pi. So you don't have to do like 2 into pi and all, like nothing like that. Just 2 pi. So 2 and then use the pi function. So it becomes 1 by 2 pi. Now you have what do you say, an integral, right? So how do you write integrals on LaTeX? Backslash int. That is the syntax for integrals, int, right? Now integrals oftentimes they'll have limit. So in this case we have a lower limit of 0 and an upper limit of 2 pi. So lower, like just like subscript, is by this underscore, right? And upper is by this, the upward arrow is the superscript type. So the same thing right here as well, int subscript 0, so the lower limit is 0 as you can see here, and then after that I have put the upper arrow and 2 pi. Again, remember, like if I had done this, the pi would not have been in let me just recompile and show you. The pi would not have been up basically. Right, see, the pi is no more on the upper limit, it has come out of the integral, right? So that is why, like when you have more than one element that you want to put as a subscript or a superscript, again group them in a curly bracket basically. So I've grouped 2 pi in a curly bracket as the upper limit, so that's why I had 2 pi above. Then again, this is a simple square bracket. This doesn't mean any like a property or things like that. This is just, as you'll see, a straight up square bracket we have in the equation as well. Again, TTV, normal word, bracket, normal thing. Now when you're in math mode, so basically when you do like $, in between dollars, this is whatever you type here is in math mode. And the same goes for begin and end equation as well. Like whatever you write in between is in math mode, is a math equation. So like for example, I can literally, let's say assumption, right? I put let's say 1 underscore over here. Alright. Okay, just spoil the whole thing for some reason. Alright, but as you can see, like okay, one difference I would like to point because of this is the difference between Overleaf and LaTeX, right? So oftentimes you'll notice Overleaf autocorrects your mistakes, right? It tries to do it. It's not perfect, as you have seen right here, but it tries to do it. And LaTeX, what it does, it won't run your program, right? Like oftentimes if I go back here and if I go right here, this is for log and output files right here, and it shows all your errors over here. All of these are errors. They're like around 28 errors, right? And so if you click the error, you can go wherever the error is and you can fix it basically. So yeah, it will tell you the errors, but oftentimes it ignores the errors, right? LaTeX, on the other hand, the offline version won't run. Like it'll just tell you that this error is there, correct it. But Overleaf, it'll either autocorrect it oftentimes, sometimes it won't run obviously, but sometimes it'll try to autocorrect it, make it a chaos, or like it'll like think of it as correct and it'll like ignore the error sort of. So you have to be careful with that, right? So this is be careful. And if it did in LaTeX, basically my point was if I put an underscore out of the math mode in between like a paragraph, right, we are outside the $, or equation, so it would just show like a normal underscore. It would just show as underscore sump blah 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 outside the math mode, but inside the underscore has a significance. Underscore is a way to write subscripts and the upper arrow is a way to write superscripts, right? So that is why they have different meanings in and out of math mode. That is one thing to note. So alright, if you go here, if you'll see here, F is sort of subscript capital W. That's why it looks big, but it's a subscript right here. And then again, the upward arrow also has significance. That's for the superscript. We have squared the entire TTV as a function of true anomaly, FW is true anomaly squared. And in the end, we obviously have D F of W right here. That is our equation. That is how you write this particular equation. So yeah, that is again like integral, square root. I can go on, but I think one equation was enough. So let me just recompile it before I begin. Yeah, so you remember, right? I had told you, for example, we had theoretical modeling subsection 2.1, and I want to tell later, okay, refer to section 2.1. Similar thing is happening here, right here. Subsection, but in this case, we have another subsection which is named instantaneous variations. This one, I believe. Yeah, this one, instantaneous variations. And as you'll see, right here, the number is 2.1.3, but right here is 3.1.1. So remember, the label name and the actual number on the paper is different, as someone asked on the doubt. That's a good question. And so yeah, over here I've labeled it as section, like SEC 3.1.1. So that is the label. Now later, when I want to tell someone to go back, I can just write \ref and then basically I'll tell you, basically this is how you label, and whatever name I put here, and how you refer to is \ref. Again, it is right now basically, okay, I've done \ref, right, and I've clicked here. It'll also give me an option to choose, like, because I've put multiple labels. I've labeled 1.12, I have equation 3.1, 2, 3, 4. I have a lot of equations labeled, right? So what it does is it sort of gives me options. If I can do it again, right? So I have a list of all the things I have labeled right here, and I can choose what do I want to refer to here over here. Let's just go to S section right here. I have labeled section 3.1.1, right? I have that as option. So if I want to refer to it later, I just press this. Now wherever I have this and someone clicks on it, it's hyperlinked. Remember that. So if I clicked on it, someone asked the doubt. The text went away, but I believe the question was what will happen if you put a upper arrow in normal text, right? Same thing, like just as we expected for underscore, let's say this, right? So in the output as well, it'll show exactly this. It'll show MO, then underscore. It won't show subscript or superscript. It'll show underscore, DE, and then upward arrow and L as a character. It doesn't have any function significance that, okay, it makes it a subscript or superscript. So it'll show exactly like this, basically, as a text, basically. So yeah, I hope I got the question correct. So yeah, this is how you refer the section. You have an option, you can select it, and as you'll see here, like, just to make the paper neat and like nice to read, have your like hyperlinks in blue, right? Because we usually use it for hyperlinks and things like that. So intuitively, like, a person knows if I click here, it'll go somewhere here. So you don't need to exclusively write click on the equation number, and even if it's in black, it looks very like monotonous, like you can't figure it out where to tap and stuff like that, right? So it's better to have it in blue. So yeah, like, have it in blue, so it shows the reader as well. Like, if you click this, you'll get to this whatever is mentioned here, right? So for that, when I'm referring, what I can do is text color. Again, when I select, it's I'll do it again, \text color. So again, it's like giving me options for functions. I'm choosing text color. Again, 2 curly brackets. I told you before, 2 curly brackets. Why? The first curly bracket for color, let's say blue, right? And the second for the text, let's say hello, or like ref. I can also have text and a reference together, right? Ref equation 3.6, suppose. So like this I can do as well. So now I'll have the text hello and equation 3.6 both in blue. But if the person clicks hello, I think I have an example here. I can show you if it is in table form. Table right here. I think this should work if I'm not mistaken. Alright, see, now table 2 is in blue, right? Let me click on table. Nothing. I'm not going anywhere. Let me click 2. Oh, this is a hyperlink. So the same exact thing is happening here. This is basically table, and then whatever, like, table 2 was there, right? So if anyone, although table is in blue, if anyone clicks here, it's not a hyperlink, right? It's not in the ref curly bracket. It's only in the text color curly bracket. So it'll be blue, but it's not a hyperlink. So if I click on it, it won't go anywhere. But if I click the equation number, I'll be redirected. I'll move across the paper. So that's how this works. So label is how you label. Ref is how you use the label, basically how you refer to it, whatever you have labeled. So these two are sort of like partners or whatever you can say as functions. And yeah, another good thing about Overleaf. So now, as you may remember in our previous workshop, offline LaTeX, we had to write begin figure and like this, that we had to like copy paste or like things like that. In this again, like Overleaf recommends many functions, even offline version does, but I believe Overleaf is a little better at it. So for example, begin. So let's say begin figure, right? Let me just choose begin figure right here. All I had to do was choose begin figure. I got all these options. I got centering, which means the image will be centered. I got include graphics. Remember, that's how you include the graphics. Let me explain from here. Include graphics, square bracket defines the property. So right here I've defined the size of the image. So the width of the image should be 0.5 times the text width. Let me just see which image this is for a second. Theoretical accuracy, I believe this one, right? Wait, it is reference diagram for, okay, yeah, this equation, right? So as you'll see right here, text width again, what is it? It is the entire horizontal length of the paper. So if I zoom out, this entire length, this entire width, that is one text width, right? Now I want, since it's two column, I want it to be half, right? So I use 0.5. So 0.5 covers half the page. As you can see, the width of this image is approximately half, right, of the page. So 0.5 times, sort of times, right, times text width. That defines the size, the property, square bracket. Now in the curly bracket, what is the actual image? Now, over here, as you'll see, we have like 1, 2, 3, like more than 10 images, right? Even in the end, we had many graphs. So 10 images, let's say. So I can go right here. We have these many images, a huge number of images. All of these we are using, right? So you don't want to like sort of, this is how you upload image. Like I click upload here, select from my computer, and I can upload it. But you don't want to like have all the images over here, right, with all the other documents. It gets chaotic, and especially in the case of like reports, it gets very chaotic. So we'll get to that as well. So right, we have images slash png, kipfig.png. Images is the folder. Again, we're sort of telling the like location, right? As you may remember, in the like initial offline version, we had graphics path, right? In starting we had, but over here we don't have any graphics path. So over here, every time we have to sort of define, which isn't hard. Like we just have to mention the folder name, which is images over here, and then forward slash. Remember, for images and location, forward slash, not backslash. So forward slash and the name, we must have kipfig over here somewhere. Right here, kipfig.png, right? So we refer to it like that. That's it. And include, and then caption. You can put caption as well. And right here I've put text color blue. I've cited it, I've labeled it, everything. So as you may like remember from few seconds ago, all I had to do was select begin figure, and I got all these options. Now I can fill my whatever image I want. I can make the caption, I can label it. Very convenient in Overleaf. That is one benefit. And okay, yeah, how do we have multiple images, right? Let me take an example of this one, for example, if I can go here. Right, all right, okay. Text color blue. Alright, so let's talk about this image. This actually has two images, right? This image and this image are two separate images. These are not one image. So what we can do here, same thing, the format is same. Begin figure, you type enter, you get centering, include graphics, caption, and all that. What you have to do is like just copy this line and enter and just paste it over here. So yeah, now you have like now three, but let me just remove it. So I copy pasted it. Now I have two include graphic sort of commands, right? One for each image. So we have two images here, impact f2 and impact f.png, both from images folder. And yeah, now again, now the size, make sure 0.5, but now we have two images. We have to make these two images fit in 0.5. So we can distribute it as 0.25, 0.25, but oftentimes it leaks out. So just put it like a point less. So over here I've put 0.23 and 0.24. If we add up, that's less than 0.25, right? So it fits basically. So the images will be smaller, but they both fit in 0.5 text width, like that. And caption and things like that. And if you want to refer to an external page, right here, let me just show this to you. If this image right here, yeah, so right here I have a website linked actually. Let me click here. External website. This is an external website, right? So basically how you do that is href, and then again you'll have two curly brackets. The first one, what is the link, where does it lead to, and the second, what is the text, right? Like many places you might have seen even in Word document, like you can, like it's not necessary that the entire like what do you say, the URL will be shown in the paper, right? It'll look very bad. You don't want that to happen, so you cover it up with this text. I believe it is paulanthonywilson.com, right? So it shows paulanthonywilson.com, but the actual link is this, right? So you use \href, and again make sure it's in text color blue to make sure for the reader that you can click here and go somewhere else. And yeah, tables, I've told you yesterday, you can make it pretty easily. And yeah, now two things are remaining. One is project report. Can we use can we hyperlink an image as external link? So do you mean like an image like which is on another website, I believe you're saying, or if I click to the image it goes and opens in another window? I'm not sure about like opening it in another window. Personally, I haven't come across doing that, but yeah, like if the image is in another site, you can obviously like link to the site basically. So yeah, like I'm not sure about opening it as a separate image on another web page. I haven't done it. Like I don't think you would need to do that on a research paper, personally. Yeah. And oftentimes, like why you won't need to is like oftentimes as I shown you yesterday, right? The definition. Let me just show you here as well. This is my zoom limit, but if I zoom more, like the quality won't be lost. It's very high definition, and the same goes for sort of images as well. All right, so it sort of preserves the image quality. Poster, I didn't really get your question. Poster. Okay, we can do one thing. A few questions we can ask after I finish as well, right? Because I think we are running a little bit late, but yeah. Let me just finish this, and we'll next go to project report soon. Since I've talked about most of the main things, project report only the format I'll be discussing, and after that we'll be discussing a very important thing, citation, to avoid plagiarism. Citation, basically your references section. How do you cite? And after that we can have sort of doubt section as well, right? Doubt session, I mean, sorry. So yeah, what else? References section. Let me go here. Uh, Alright, right here we have three images, so three include graphics for this one right here. And again, this one I have these three images right here, you can see. So I divided this 1.5, right? So that's about like 45.45, less than 0.5, so it fits similarly. Again, I've used bullet and so on, blah blah blah. And table, the same thing. Another thing is when I use the table generator, for example, create LaTeX generator. What I can also do is basically if I have an Excel sheet, right, and I have a set of data, right, because when you're coding or things like that, your data is sort of exported often in CSV or in Excel format, right? So you don't want to like type if you have a huge data set, you don't want to type this either, right? We as humans are sort of lazy as well, right? Like for the good, like it's more efficient, but you don't, if you have like 100, like a set of 100 like data points, you don't want to like type each of them again. What you can do is sort of copy the Excel, just copy the Excel columns, copy it and paste it over here. It automatically becomes a table over here and just generate it. So that's another shortcut I forgot to tell yesterday, but yeah, that's very helpful as well. And so yeah, you can do that as well. First write it in Excel if you want, edit it a little, copy paste it to the generator, get the code, and you can get it. Alright, you can label tables as well. You can label table, images, things like that. And yeah, also you may remember, right, the percentage was for comment. Like if I write anything here, it won't appear in the paper, it's just a comment. And so basically, what if I want to write percentage, right? So what I have to do is \% because this is sort of symbol as well. this also you can say is a math symbol in a way, right? Percentage. So this also is a sort of function, so you have to write backslash and then percentage, and the same goes for and as well, because and, as you may remember in the matrices, right, 1 and 2 and 3, so the and separates the row elements. Basically in each row it separates the element 1 2 3, so that is also having a math function. So to actually have it as text, just put backslash, basically that's it, right? That's another thing, and I believe we have covered everything for research paper.
Can you explain what and does
uh,
again?
yeah let me take this example I have in the, we'll move to the project report now, because why not. Okay, so remember I showed the Overleaf page, right, for matrices, different type of matrices. Let me just open it up again, like really quickly. Overleaf matrix, right here. Yeah. So as you'll see here, like leave matrix, p matrix, and so on. That is just for the change in parenthesis. But as you'll see, like every matrix has this and element over here. So and what it does is, if I have an element, let's say 1. Now I want to go to the next column in the same row, next column. So what I do is and. So now it jumps to the next column and jumps to the next column. And when we do backslash double backslash two backslashes, it goes to the next sort of row. So just like that. So and has this function in matrices for math, basically. And so yeah, that's why we have to use backslash n if you want an actual and, such as this one. Let me just tap here and see if it's there. Yeah, right here. So as you see, this and is like a common text, right? So as you see, I put backslash end over here. So for text you need to put backslash for and, that's it. And for matrices, both examples in the same place, that's great. For matrices like such as this one, this is our matrix right here. This is the Jacobian, so the sort of differentials in each direction, and we have a few dots as well. And yeah, so we have j of these parameters is equal to now fraction. Let me just give you, like we have fraction, and then we have like basically partial different fractions. How do you do that? This is del f1 by del x1, right? Not df1 by dx1 or anything like that, right? So if it was df1 by dx1, you could just write like df1 by dx1 right here. But partial is again a function right here. It's a sort of Greek letter, you can say. So we have to write this as a function. So then again, frac, two curly brackets. The numerator is partial f subscript 1. So as you see, del f subscript 1, and the numerator partial x del x underscore 1 right here, right? And yeah, for like having horizontal x's, you can just like horizontal dots, sorry, you can just put dots here, or you can also use a separate function. But suppose like if you have a huge matrix or whatever, like 1 to n, let's say, and you want to show it. So these diagonal dots, as you may remember, d dots, d for diagonal, d dots, so backslash d dots, right? So as you'll see, right here we have partial and dot and partial, and then like this, and then we go to the next one, and partial, and in this third row we have just dots, right? So notice right here, if we go to the next line, this line right here, so the first element is dot dot dot, next element is dot dot dot, next element is the slanting, the diagonal dots, next element is dot dot dot, and then we go to the next row like that, right? This is how it works. And this is a B matrix for square brackets. And yeah, so what I wanted to talk about when it comes to like research sort of reports is again the format. We'll go through this quickly and then we'll discuss citation. So there's a like project reports are usually much more longer than research papers, you can say, because you write a lot into it. So the contents, if you see, this was from one of my projects in university. So for this I had introduction, in which acknowledgement, if you want, you can write your professor, and then you have aims and objective, and then you have background and literature overview. That is basically what have you like learned, basically what is the prerequisite for your research that you have done in this paper, like that, right? So all the prerequisites, coordinate transformation, Laplace's equation, engineering metamaterials, things like that. Then you have methodology. This is the same as the research paper. What method have you used, and things like that. What new thing have you used, and all that. And the format of project report can change varying on your project. In this case, this was mainly a simulation project, modeling project for cloaking, and other applications. So I had a separate section for cloaking as well, and other applications and appendix in the end, and references as well. So now if I go to the main one, if you'll see here, right here, let me just show you the folders first. Chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, appendix, app is appendix 1, I mean A, B, C. We have the front matter includes abbreviation, abstract, acknowledgement, dedication, TMS. Like you don't have to put all these, but you can if you want, and a folder for images as well. Again, I believe you have quite a few, quite a few images. So again, stay organized, right? Stay organized. And this was actually a template that I had used. Again, a good thing about Overleaf, this is the template that I had used. As you'll see, there's a lot of difference now, but this was the original template. This was the template I used. So again, they have all this organized for you, appendix A, B, C, D, and so on. And they design, like for example, watermark I had removed, and like you'll see a lot of differences. Like over here, you'll see after each page there's a gap. Basically, there's a blank page in the starting. Blank page is a dedication. I don't have a dedication page, and so on, right? And they have this particular format, and yeah. So you can change a lot, right? Start with a template, change a lot. So if I go to the main.text file, right? This is the sort of even in programming you have a sort of parent function in a way, right? Which calls other functions within itself. So this is something like that, like this is the main sort of body, main file of the LaTeX file basically. Alright, so a lot of these you'll see is already there. For example, orthodox, NAG, require package. Like you don't have to know all of these, and if like you need to know, you can just search and you'll find out easily. But you don't have to know like these small peculiarities, as long as it works for you basically. Now, document class again. Document class, that one we had mnras, we had IEEE, now we have University of Malta, I believe that was the University of Malta. So it's their template, so they have their own again document class. So every sort of template will have its own document class, usually speaking. And yeah, so they have all these like packages. If you need any extra, you can add it later. And yep, then again same thing, title, you'll get the title. Author, you'll get it, author ID, supervisor. For example, I typed supervisor over here, I got supervisor Dr. Jasim Hadri M right here, right? And authors, large, my and my partner's name, we got it right here, the heading right here, and all those things, right? Now let's go a little bit deeper, right? A little deeper to understand what is going on exactly. So let us check the supervisor, for example. We have / supervisor Dr. Jasim Hadri M. Now let me go to .cls. Now let me again search the folder for supervisor right here. Right, so the name of your supervisor, this sort of DEF defined in a way, defines this / supervisor. What does this mean? This means like you're putting your supervisor's name in a way. So if I can go here, right? So as you'll see, this is the sort of background code for this, right? So in the original code, in the main file, you saw that it was just / supervisor Dr. Jasim Hadri, right? But over here you'll see how do we get this supervisor right here if it was /, because we have already defined it in the backend code. Again, you don't have to do all this, you can edit a little. I've edited all this a little to my convenience, but yeah, supervisor text BF, so bold, this was it. I don't think this is bold, but I had put it to bold, and / other supervisor, and then a space of 1 centimeter. So just like that, this is the backend code, right? So sometimes you might have to edit, sometimes, most of the time you won't have to, but yeah. And the watermark as well, oftentimes you will find the watermark in the backend as well. So to remove the watermark, I had to go to the CLS file. One trick, like as you might have noticed by now, is anything you want to search. I want to search supervisor, I'll search it, right? Like it's easy to find the keywords in the document, so search, like Control F, that's how you search. So just search it, and you'll easily be able to find the code you need to change basically. And yeah, so as you'll see, the main code is pretty small compared to the like how long is this? There's a lot of pages, right? So the main code is pretty small. So as you'll see here, so this percentage wasn't there before. It was like this initially, like this. So we had front matter, dedication. Again, front matter, the folder. Inside that we have a dedication file. So basically /input inputs that file over here in order. So after the make title, you sort of enter the dedication first, the team, then teammates next, the acknowledgement next. But I didn't need any dedication. As you'll see, there's no dedication over here. I have like title page, content, and introduction straight away. I don't have any dedication page. So if you don't want a dedication page, all you do is just a second. Yeah, all you do is just put a comment. Right now this has become a comment. This won't be executed while it is running. Basically abstract I do want, obviously. Yeah, so that's about it. And new geometry. Now you can change your geometry as well, the margins, as I told last time. You can change your page margins as well. And page style, page, that is predefined. Then main matter. Now again, input chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, right? One by one you input each chapter. So after the introduction we have chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and things like that, right? Chapter 1 is introduction, sorry. Then you restore it and you sort of change the geometry again. So if you'll see, I believe appendix, let's go to appendix. Yeah, so input app A, again the folder app A, inside that we have this file. So you folder and then refer to it basically. So just like that. And I only needed one appendix for this. Again, all I have to do is make it a comment. It won't get executed in the program, so it'll be ignored basically. So yeah, and bibliography, I use another method which I'll let you guys know, but yeah, that's about it for the report as well. Now a very important thing would be the, why isn't it loading? A very important thing would be the bibliography, right? The references, how to avoid plagiarism. If your paper is caught with like plagiarized content, like you won't be allowed to publish, like the editor will send it back and reject it and things like that, all sort of bad things you can imagine. But yeah, and so yeah, like let us learn how do we like sort of refer to it. So if we go here, let's take an example of the research paper, right? So bib, that is the bibliography. It stands for bibliography, and that is where you put the articles you are referring to. So if I go right here, example.bib. So right here I have put these sort of long code looking things, but it's pretty easy. It's just copy paste. For example, right, one of my favorite papers for this, like one of my favorite referring paper for this was Keeping 2008. So I think that's what I had searched, Keeping 2009 to the, let's just say 2009, right? So the Google Scholar is a very important tool, scholar.google.com, or you can also download the extension, which is much more convenient. You can just search it, you can get the results here, and you can press this as well. This is for citations, right? But let's just use the main page for now for more clarity. So as you see, cite, there are double quotes. So I press that, and I have these sort of like ways of like referring to it. These are usually used for you can say blogs or like other places you are referring these articles, I mean research papers in. But when you're typing it in Overleaf or LaTeX, you need like a sort of code version of it, right? Or you'll just have to like copy paste each and like enter and enter and enter, like it'll just be a mess. So what you have to do in this case, if bib text, so bibliography, bib text, bib, so that's a common word. So I can just click here and I go to this page. All I have to do, literally all I have to do, just copy from here. And which code were we following? We're doing this one, right? And I can just paste it over here like this. And all the papers that I need to cite, I just go search the paper and then click the quotation and I click bib text, and then I just copy it from the whatever code sort of thing I get, and I paste it in my bib file on Overleaf. All my these things I already have this, so I'll remove it. So I have got like 1 2 3 a lot, right? A lot. So this was Keeping 2009. Like sometimes you'll also have like abstract in it, but we'll have to use jabref, like we won't go into that, but you paste it over here in a bib file. Now after that, once you have posted in the bib file, now Overleaf knows these are the papers you have cited. Now how do you refer to it in the paper? As you have seen, like Keeping 2008 for example, right? So if I can go to the main one, right, if I go here, yeah, so like for referring to equations, to tables, you use \ref, but for referring to papers, there's a different thing you have to use, \cite, citation, cite, right? You're citing the paper. So you have to use \cite curly brackets, and what paper are you referring to? Keeping 2008. Now why did I type keeping 2008? Now let me just search here, keeping 2008. Yeah, right here. So as you'll see, like it has a lot of like parts, right? It has author, title, journal, like a lot. But in the starting, add the rate article, and then the starting, this one is its name, and it's already given. Or you can change it as well. I can make it like keeping paper 2008 as well, but why waste that extra time, right? So you'll have it already, just copy paste it and just copy this name right here. This is the sort of referral name, like we had to put a referral name for tables and images, but for this we just copy paste. The name is already given, the referral name is already given. For here, like over here we have hello 2016, we have keeping 2008, and so on. The name is given, we just copy it, and \cite in the curly bracket we just paste the name, keeping 2008, and obviously we want it to be in red, so remember \text color blue in curly brackets, and another curly bracket, what is in blue? Citation of keeping 2008, right? And so yeah, we get something like this. It comes out as keeping bracket 2008, and if someone clicks, let me just show it once again. If I click keeping 2008, I won't be redirected to the web page of the paper, but I'll be redirected to the references section, and not just the top of my references section. Let me show you once again. The top showing result will be the keeping 2008. So what is on the top most? Keeping 2008. So yeah, it has come to this exact position. Even inside the references position, it comes to the exact position of the paper. And some have like links already. I haven't like put it on blue. It was automatically blue beforehand. So that depends. That's not an issue. But all you have to do is cite it like this. And if someone wants to go to that paper, they can either, like if you hyperlink it, they can click on it, or they can copy paste it again on this one right here, and they'll find the paper and they can refer to it. And that's how you cite it, right? So have all your things right here. And sometimes, okay, the question is, okay, I have read this paper, it has helped me with the research, but I can't really find a place where I have to cite it, right? I can't find a place where I have to mention it, but this paper has helped me. So let me go back to the report. I think I've done this over here in background. So over here my bib file is background. Over here same format, like just copy paste the from Google Scholar. Now if I go down, you'll be able to see right here. Yeah, I have a bunch of functions known as no cite. So like you'll see, these papers are not written anywhere on the printed paper, except obviously the references section. I'm not referring to these papers anywhere, right? But I still want these papers to appear in my references section in the end. I hope it was taking like a lot of time, but references section. But I want it to appear in the references section, although I don't want to cite it in the middle of my content. So what I have to use is, except \cite, I use no cite, \no cite, and then the same thing, name. Even these you need to have in the bib file. Just copy paste all of these, but if you're not mentioning it, have it as no cite. If you're mentioning it, \text color blue, and then \cite. That's how you cite it. And yeah, I believe that's it for this workshop. And so yeah, like now I'll be, like if you have any doubts we can talk about that, and then I'll be talking about the assignment, the final 2 assignments which you guys have to optionally submit for the scholarship. So do you have any doubt?
Yes, this is about how we are going to split our text into like these 2 columns, like usually in these journals.
Sorry, could you repeat? How are we going to get a paper into 2 columns?
If you see any page of the journal, your entire writing is separated into 2 columns. Like there's a right column and a left column, which it continues basically. So how to get a PDF like that? Usually, because if you type it normally in LaTeX, it will be just one whole page. It won't column your entire thing.
Yeah. For that, like the same code as the offline LaTeX, I'll just go back to it and show you. The first folder that we had talked about was just a second. Remove this and open, which one was it? The workshop. Yeah, just continue this, right? So we over here I've like taken a lot of columns just for an example, right? So by default, let's say it's like 2 columns. but over here in this, like, you'll have an option of having right here, if I do this again, document class, by default it can be like 1 or 2, like in research paper templates is 2. Suppose you want to make it 1, then in the document class properties, like by default is 1 in the of. If I type 2 column, I think by default it should be 2 now. Yeah, so now it is a 2-column document, right? So this is where you define 1 column or 2 column in the near the document class, and it is a little more complicated than that because again, as I showed you, like in the when it comes to templates, they have a lot of like background code going on and like a lot of folders, right? So it can get a little complicated, but on a simple file, you can define an entire you can say paper, whether it be 1 column or 2 column, by this like square bracket property of the article, 2 column, or by default it is 1 column. Now let's just say it is 1 column, right? Let's just say 1 column, but I want multiple columns together in one page or something, let's say. So by default is 1 column, so this is how our initial text will be, right? So what I've done here is, if you'll see, begin multi-column star, and then what is the number of columns that I want? 3. Now make sure even this has to be entered inside the multi-column, because this basically, what this means is, this particular part of my writing I'm putting in multiple columns. 3 columns I have, I'm putting this in all 3 columns, so this will appear like one section, right? I have this in each like all 3 columns. Now that is done by square bracket. Again, no particular logic behind this, but square bracket. And so yeah, like that goes into all 3 columns. Now when I close the square bracket and now I add more text, but we are still inside multi-column. Remember that we are still inside multi-column, which has 3 columns. So now when I enter the text outside the square bracket, I will get text in 3 columns on the same page. And if anything I typed over here, like let me just put more text, I guess, just show you. If I run it, I get more text in all like as 1 column, like that. And so yeah, this is how multi-column works. But like with templates it can be a little more complicated, because again, even templates, as I'll just show you, like this template has a pretty different format. This has just like 3 files, you can say. This has more files, and like there's a lot going on basically. So what I suggest for like columns, let's say you can search it, column width we got, but then like if you search on the background, you might get column and things like that, right? Yeah, so right here you'll see either it 2 column true and things like that, multiple functions. And if you have any doubt, you can definitely search it. So yeah, like first thing is, if you want to change a thing, search it in the code itself, and most of the time you'll be able to change it. It's nothing like that hard. And but if you have any doubt, oh, what does this like function mean, or at the rate and this and that, you can clearly like search it and you'll definitely be able to find it. So yeah. And one more thing I'll mention here is, in this, for example, you'll see right here, this is a long, like sort of a book. This is made like a book. So if I sort of zoom out a little, yeah, so as you'll see, this shifted a little towards the, just a second, yeah, this shifted a little towards the right to the left. And if I go down here, it'll be more evident. So yeah, this page is shifted towards the right, this towards the left, right, left, like a book, right? Oftentimes you have that. Let me just go back to the main one. Yeah, so for a book, like you'll notice in a book we have like both the sides shifted to the corners, right? So the same thing is happening here. Sorry. Yeah, the same thing is happening here. So again, for the same thing, use document class as well. Over here it's not 1 column 2 column, it's 2 side. So you can just do like 1, and I think that should fix it. And yeah, if you have any doubt, like you can see right here as well, comments, they have written everything to help you out. uh,
one more thing.
Yeah.
There's like so much to do in LaTeX and so much things to keep track of. So there will be so much remaining after this workshop is over as well. So can you basically guide us a little on how to explore this ourselves? Or if some piece of information skips our mind, is there any better method to find out what we want without except Googling?
No, not really. Like, I mean, like there are only two ways to like do this, right? One is Overleaf would suggest it to you, or you will have to like search it. And like I can tell you, like even like LaTeX experts, even researchers who write the paper in LaTeX, like I would be pretty confident in saying they don't know like 50% of LaTeX. I can say that pretty confidently, and that is because like it's honestly a waste of time, right? Because most of the packages like you won't be using. For example, like this they have just done for fun, I guess, right? Use package coffee for. What is this package? This package is literally made to put a coffee stain on this page. That is the function of this package. So there are useless packages as well, like which you like literally don't need, but they have just put it for a demonstration. Like I'm not blaming them. Good demonstration. So like they've written as a comment for some fun. So there are literally like a gazillion like packages and like gazillion commands, and so yeah, like you can't really know all of it first of all. And now coming to how can we explore? Okay, um, honestly, like googling and like okay, it's not as hard as you're like expecting, because like okay, yeah, I agree. Like sometimes when you might Google, like you might have to go to the second page of Google and like really like search through website. But that's what I said, right? Like when you search about LaTeX, most of the times mark my words, these two websites, Overleaf usually for basic things like how to make matrices and things like that. And if you have a more complicated sort of question to ask, and LaTeX is right. LaTeX, how do you blah blah blah, or some like whatever doubt you have. And oftentimes you'll go to the Stack Exchange for the text forum basically, and that is where you'll find all your problems. So far, I would say I have I haven't really found anything like that. I have been able to solve all my problems using Stack Exchange basically, and that is usually like the one of the top 3 4 results on Google. So yeah, so you will have to Google, you will have to look around a little in the starting, but once you use it, like for example, this is one project report, just one project report, right? Like this I have written about 1 2 3. If you are in the archive as well, like 3 4 5 and so on, I've written more than 10. So like I've gotten used to it. So literally, like if you give me this template now, like I can change it to my own will. Like for example, I'll show you like um which one. Let's just take this, why not, again. So you'll see a lot. I've made a lot of differences in this. You'll see like this was like very different from the original template, so except like removing acknowledgement and like removing dedication and all that. So as you'll see, let me go down in the chapters, actually introduction. Now I'll go down here. mm, Introduction. All right, let's just take chapter 2 because all the chapters have the same like heading format. So basically the difference is right here. See, let me go to chapter 2 for your like background and literature overview. See the design of the heading. We have two and then a design like this, and then we have the heading over here. But over here, according to me, it looks better. That's why I made it like this. We have a two and then like that, and a like heading in between. So I've made a lot of changes, and so yeah, you'll just have to look around a little bit and just search the code, search a little bit of Google. You'll really be able to master like to your own like whatever you will need basically in the future. I have been able to do it like that, and it took me like I think I would say like 2 to 3 months to do that. And it wasn't hectic either because literally all I had to do was search, and the answer was literally in the top 4 like results. So nothing to worry about here. Not a lot of searching needed. Just search on Google like Stack Exchange or Overleaf. You'll get your answer, and then you can change your designs as well of the template and like things like that to your own will. And yeah, so searching is actually the way. Like there is no better way. Like two ways to learn it: search and learn whatever you need to learn, or learn the entire like LaTeX and then use, because now you know everything, which I believe is a waste of time. It'll take a very very long time, much longer than what you will need to learn what you need. You won't need like even 50% of the entire LaTeX library. You won't need it. So yeah.
I have one question, that is, uh, when you put all the citation thing in the blit, whatever you said, does it show up in the references? Does it make the references page for you? Or do you have to make the references page and
Uh, no, it makes it for us. That is a really good thing about it, right? All you have to do is add over here, and we have to cite it as well. Just adding is not enough. We have to cite it. That is why either you cite it or you have to no cite it. Cite or no cite. You have to do either one of these two things, and only then will it appear in the end. Like, I hope it loads. Like, it's a big document, that's why the references section is not okay. It loaded. All right. So, and it'll automatically just add it for you. What will it add? It will add something similar to this, as you saw over here. Like this, right? You saw something like this, the author, heading, journal, page, and things like that. So
yes.
similar thing here, author, heading, blah blah blah, year, and things like that. So this thing comes automatically. All you have to do is add it in the bib file and either cite or no cite it. That's it. Everything else is automatic. That's a really good thing about Overleaf. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No. And I think I'll tell one little small little thing as well. Coding. Like, if you want to add code to your reports here, basically coding right here. This is a MATLAB code. It's really long, but let's just go up. Or actually, let me show you this one. Okay. Okay, I'll show this. But basically, in appendix, you can also add codes, right? So basically, we have this code right here. For that, you have to use another package, MATLAB styler, and then you have to use this function lst input listing, and then style equals MATLAB editor, caption, blah blah blah. Now, I don't think we have much time, so basically, I won't be telling the syntax. All you can do is search how to add MATLAB code on Overleaf, something like that, right? If I go here, right here, MATLAB prettifier package, right? Let me just see if I've used it. Must be there somewhere. In this CLS. Is it there? Right here. See, use package, framed and numbered. Framed as in there's a box around the code. Numbered as in each line has a code, just like it has in actual MATLAB. MATLAB prettifier. So I've used this code. How did I find out about this code? I never knew about this code. All I did was, how do I add MATLAB code on Overleaf? Again, Stack Exchange, really helpful site. Stack Exchange, use package MATLAB prettifier. Not just that, they'll actually tell you the code as well. Like, they'll tell you what exactly do you have to write, LST listing, and then the program name and things like that. So I won't be discussing this, but now you know how to learn, right? So best of luck with learning it in the future as well. Use package MATLAB prettifier, numbered and framed, and you can just refer to the code. Right here, as you'll see, I've referred to program slash MATLAB app.m. I'll go to the program folder, MATLAB.m, and this is the entire code. I just pasted it over here and it automatically came here. And it also colors it to your own convenience. Comments are in green, a few in-code functions are in violet, I believe, yeah, violet, and then loops are in blue. Everything is automated in a way, right? Very convenient. So yeah, I just showed you how easy it is to find out, and yeah, you can do it like that. Any other doubts, or we can move to the assignments really quickly? All right. So yeah, I believe that's it. So I'll let you know a little bit about the assignment as well, right? Those who wanted to submit for the scholarship. So basically, I'll be sharing it if you can't see it on the Meet, again via emails. But I'll let you know what what you have to do. Short two-part assignment. The first part, we'll be giving you templates. The link to these two templates, the report template and also this template, mnras. one is for research paper, one is for research report. You don't have to edit the whole report, alright? It's a very short thing, I'll tell you. Now I'll just actually I'll send it via email and I'll tell you the commands as well. You might forget, right? What you have to do is you have to remove the watermark here, right? You can change the heading to anything, that doesn't matter. Remove the watermark and remove the extra pages like declaration pages and the dedication pages. It's a nice dedication page to the Avengers, for saving the world, dedication to the Avengers, but delete it, it's fine. Acknowledgement and don't need to change the heading, it's fine. It takes a little bit of learning for that. Remove the coffee stain, remove this, and yeah. So for the report, that's it. Remove watermark, remove coffee stain, remove not these these first 3 pages. Another thing, as you'll see, this text is in red, the line is in red. Leave the logo, the text and line is in red. All the main sort of things are in red. The content is in red, list of figures in red, blah blah, numbers in red. I want you to change the color from red to blue, right? All, like whatever is in red should be in blue, dark blue, let's just say. So that is another thing. So these few things have to change for the report. And for this what I want you to do, like I told, right, if you have a research paper which is not accepted, you cannot put it with the like basically the journal's name on ResearchGate and things like that. So for this, the only thing you have to do is remove the header and footer, basically remove the trace of this journal. mnras shouldn't be anywhere, basically. Like don't just like make it like nothing written there. Remove the header, remove the footer, and yeah. So for this, remove the header and footer, and for this I've told you what to do. I'll send it via email, the exact step by step, like what you have to do, and also the folders. And if I can request, like this time actually everyone put your emails in the chat box, so we can just send it to everyone, like the folders and stuff like that. It's fine. Like even if you can see, just enter your email and we'll send it to you. It'll be better. Like everything from the first workshop to the second workshop. And in the third workshop, we'll be talking about research CV, right? How to make a research CV in Overleaf, and we'll especially be making use of the href hyperlinks, right? And that'll be very very useful in making a research CV like really amazing. And so I would really suggest you guys come. And also I will be sharing a link, just a second, all right? An important form link.